Hello, everyone. Welcome to Weekend Sports, and we are breaking down the Lions' schedule since the schedule release was yesterday. Kind of going about how we think the season's gonna go. I know we had our over unders predicted, I think already at some point. I'm not 100% sure about that, but overall, um, I don't see the Lions repeating as division winners. They might make it as a wild card team. I know a lot of people are confident. They're still saying that we're winning 13, 14 games. I don't see it. I really don't see it. Obviously, I think that can happen. Overall, I think it's possible for it to happen. But I think the schedule just does not line up well for you. And a lot has to go right for you to end up winning your division.
I didn't think that they would win 15 games last year, and they won 15 games with basically no defense. They were so decimated on the defensive side of the ball, but they still ended up 15-2. And with the exception of if we hadn't thrown 4 or 5 turnovers in that game against Washington, I think we had a good shot. Um, I just like I said, it's the same. It's basically the same team, only you have more defensive players
Yeah,
that you can rely on. Aline McNeil, he's not going to be a factor,
it's not right
which is
away.
going to hurt. So we got to hope that this guy we drafted out of Ohio State will, fill that void at least in stopping the run.
Yeah, but we'll go game by game, see what we like, what we don't like, and we'll go from there. But first game, they are opening the year actually in a good spot, realistically, weather wise, and I say it gives them a chance. They're opening the year in Green Bay, a 425 game. Um, Again, early September in Green Bay is probably preferable compared to end of the year Green Bay weather wise. But I think our streak in Green Bay ends here.
Um, I don't. I think we're going to start off the season on doing well. I'm not afraid of Green Bay until Green Bay could show that they are going to be, one of the better teams in the NFC. And they made the playoffs, but I still think they're struggling to get in the playoffs still. I don't think they're a division leading team right now. I don't think they're going to come close to that. So I think we can beat them the first
I
game. I think and
I think
everyone's
we
so high.
can. I think we can beat them. I very well think we can. I just don't know if we will. Because eventually you're gonna lose. You're gonna lose in Green Bay eventually,
Why
and
they beat us like 18 times in a row?
let's say at home, right? I
They
mean,
beat us
I
every
think
Shit. They kicked the crap out of us
I
when it
think
was
your streak is
27 years.
eventually gonna end, and I wouldn't be surprised if it starts again. This could be a win, but something's telling me that they're gonna start the year 0-1. Green Bay. It's gonna be close. I don't think any of their games are gonna be blowouts.
Well, I think
I
they
will state
also
that right now. I think most of these games are going to be close. They play a really difficult schedule. I think it's like the second most or third most difficult schedule
right.
currently.
You
Obviously, as the year goes on, that can change. But
you have to have a sense of urgency, and I think they're going to. Looking at this schedule, you have to have a sense of urgency every week. There is no let up.
there is
There is
no.
no,
I
and
think
if you give up a game that you should win, you're the next week. You're in the shitter
I
because
think they're going to be at an advantage the second half. If they can get to 500 or above 500 their first half before the bye week, I think after the Philadelphia game, they should be smooth sailing. I think. But again, we'll get there when we get there. But second game of the year, they're going to be playing at home. Ben Johnson's return only takes 2 weeks. He
right,
will be back in Detroit week 2. A 1 o'clock game against Chicago as your home opener.
right.
Which again, I think you're going to win. I think you're going to beat Chicago at home. I don't think Chicago is going to be someone you can take lightly this year, though. I think they're going to be a good team. They're going to be
They're
fighting,
certainly
but
not going to want to lose to Ben Johnson the first time they play
and
him
but
at
that's
home
the thing. I don't think
in
I think
front
the
of them.
Lions are going to be just doing their best to win. This is going to be if there's a game that could be a blowout. This could be the one because they just want to prove a point.
I think certainly they want to prove a point, and certainly they realize that they need to start out 2-0. They really
They
do.
do. They do need. I think they'll start out 1-1, but they need to start at 2-0. Again, I think they could beat Green Bay and Green Bay, but I just think it's going to go the other way this time. but they should start the year at least 1-1, however it goes. Chicago always plays you well without Ben Johnson as their coach. So we'll see how the Ben Johnson factor adds into this game. But I think they will still come away with the win. Again, priced out the home fans, though. I mean, over $200 is the average per home game. It's cheaper to go to a road game than it is to a home game, which sucks. Again, we're kind of in a gauntlet here with our road games because now you're going to go on the road the next week, Monday night in Baltimore. Your cheapest game, actually, no, my bad, not your cheapest. The cheapest is LA. But your second cheapest game is a Monday night game in Baltimore to go to. So if you want to go to a road game, Baltimore might be the one you want to go to if you're looking to save your money. But
you're also probably going to lose that game. So that's
probably going to lose that game.
The first two are really, really important.
Well, being at Baltimore, you've not played Baltimore well, or at least when you do play them well, you still end up losing in some horrific fashion via record-breaking field goal. But
I would give it to the edge to the Lions, but I don't think they can beat Baltimore.
Yeah, right now I understand we were undefeated on the road last year, but I got us 1-2 right now. After the Baltimore game, I think again it's going to be close. I don't think any game you're going to be a good team. I don't think any game is going to be a blowout against you. It's all going to be a close somehow. Next game, you're going to be coming home a little bit easier on you. An unknown quarterback situation in Cleveland. They're going to come to Detroit in week 4. I think you handle business at a 1:00 game.
You have to handle business
in Cleveland.
Against a team like this. Yes, you have to handle.
You're going to be 2-2 in my opinion. You think they're going to be 3-1 at this point too. But I mean, it should be an easier game for them. But we'll see how the Browns start off. Maybe their quarterback situation finds itself and they play really well, and we'll see how it goes. But I don't think you'll struggle against Cleveland. Week 5, you're going to be going to Cincinnati. So your first road game, your second road game is Baltimore. Third road game is at Cincinnati. 4:25 on Fox. America's Game of the Week that week. Again, a close game. I don't know how well this is going to go. They could be without Trey Hendrickson because he's saying he'll sit out on his current contract.
That's what we've heard.
So,
that's why, there's always buzz around him and him coming to the Lions around here. And it's an interesting thing, interesting topic. We'll see. I think Cincinnati is probably the most Jekyll and Hyde team in the NFL. They can beat anybody on any given Sunday,
but they also can beat themselves.
Right.
But I'm going
to be positive here.
I'm going to go with the Lions.
And go with the Lions. I think so too.
We're going to go with the Lions. I have currently a 3-2 record. You have a 4-1 currently. Now here's the problem. Next week, Sunday Night Football. Not only did you just play at a difficult place in Cincinnati, now you're going to go play next week at Kansas City. Jared Goff, 3-0 against Patrick Mahomes. Can he keep it up? Can he do it again? I'm going to say no. I'm going to say no. I think the Chiefs will win this game. And you're sitting at a nice 4-3 record. Are you saying we're 5-1, or are we saying we're 4-2?
Once before. We were there.
We're there. We're not going to be there this time.
They won that, and they weren't the team they are now. They weren't as good as they were then. I think that this is going to be, barring injuries, this is going to be a hell of a game. I think we could beat Kansas City. I also think we could lose to them. It's going to be close.
I got to be realistic.
I'm going to give the edge to Detroit. I'm going to give it.
You're more positive this year than I am. You only got us on one loss right now.
I just don't. I look at that, and all things being even, like I said, as long as we don't have any decimating injuries, I think we're going to take that one.
So you're at 5-1. I'm at 4-2 right now. 4-3 actually. I'm at 4-3. You're at 5-1 or whatever it is. I don't know. My numbers are off.
4-2.
4-2. I got us losing to Green Bay, Baltimore, and Kansas City through 6 weeks.
So
I have a 3-3. I say we're 3-3.
Wow.
I say we're 3-3. You're saying we're 5-1 right now.
5-1, baby.
Next week, here we go. Here's where I say we're back above 500. We're facing Tampa at home on Monday Night Football. I think we're going to beat Tampa, putting us at 4-3 on the year right there. We're beating Tampa at home. Are you saying we're going to be 6-1?
Yes, I am. going to be.
You're a lot more positive than you thought.
6-1,
So-
yes.
You're saying we're 6-1 going into the bye week. We can handle Tampa.
Yes.
I'm saying we're 4-3 going into the bye week, which I think is perfectly fine. Kind of where I want us to be at least by that point, with how the season's gonna
We're
go.
going to be 6-1.
We got a mid-season bye week. You think we're gonna be 6-1? That'd be great. If we're 6-1 by that point, I think you're gonna run the rest of the year perfectly fine.
Now you're going to be surprised. I'm going to go with the opposite direction.
After the bye week, though, I think again you have 3 straight games that are and then I think you can run the table after that. Personally, so first game after the bye week is a Minnesota team who I think will also have a bye week, but is also coming back from overseas. I think they might be coming back from their 2 straight London and Ireland game. I think at home you could beat Minnesota perfectly easily.
There's no way J.J. McCarthy beats us. No way.
I think you can handle
we
that.
will not only beat them, but we will smack them around.
So you got so far you still only have us at 1 loss through 8 games. We're 7-1. I got us at 5 and through 7 games, so 5 and 3. I don't know. I'm messing up at this point. Well, yeah, 5-3. I have us at 5-3 here. Now you're going to Washington. Here's your next troubling 2 games. You're going to Washington again, a 4:25 game. America's Game of the Week. Again, can you win at Washington in early November? How cold is it going to be? There's a lot of factors that come into these next 2 games. Weather-wise, Jared Goff is always known not to be good in bad weather, though the past couple of years we've seen him play perfectly fine in bad weather. I don't know why that's still the case for what people say. But I think going to Washington, you can handle yourself. Will you win? I don't know. This is the toss-up one for me, but I think I will give it to Washington just because it's in Washington.
I agree.
And
I would also say it's very hard to win in RFK. So
it's not RFK anymore.
We've not had much of a history, good history in Washington, and I think Washington's going to be a very good team this year.
So you're at 2 losses. I'm at 4 losses. I'm at a nice 6-4 through. Well, is it 6-4? Whatever, 6-3. I don't know.
Right.
I know I'm at 4 losses right now. I'm at 5-4.
Okay.
You're at
7-2.
7-2. So we're a little bit different right now. Next is at Philadelphia, a Sunday night game mid-November. Again, what's the weather going to be like? Can you beat Philadelphia in Philly? I would love to. But again, this is another case of I don't know. I don't know if they can do this. I don't know if they can pull it out. What's the weather going to be like? There's a whole lot of different situations that come up. Right now, I'm saying they don't win.
I think
and you're back to 5-5.
I think this will be a very close game, but I think Philadelphia is just a little bit better. And so, yeah, that's another loss.
I got us at 5-5.
7-3.
And 7-3. Right. And again, I'm trying to be realistic here as much as I can. With this 5-5, I think is a very possible record at this point. Now, again, this is where I feel like you could start running the table. You're going to face New York the next week. You should have no problem against the Giants. You should beat the Giants pretty easily. I don't care if Jameis Winston's our quarterback, Russell Wilson's our quarterback. You should beat the Giants.
I agree. Should stomp on them. We're going to have to because I think we're going to come off 2 losses.
So 6-5?
8-3.
So next is Green Bay on Thanksgiving again this year. You face Green Bay on Thanksgiving. I think you can beat Green Bay at home. It's going to be a close game again, but I think this is where you're going to beat Green Bay. You're going to get that extra win that you keep on needing. I'm at 7-5 now.
I think they're also going to beat Green Bay, so I think they're going to be at 9-3.
Next is another Thursday night game the next week versus Dallas. You're going to crush Dallas at home. You're going to crush them at home.
Yeah, I just think that, like I said, this is going to be a game. I think it's the Cowboys, even if they aren't a very good team. But they picked up some pieces. They may not be as bad as we think. But still, I think they will pull that out for their 10th win.
So yeah, I'm at 8-5 right here.
I'm at 10-3.
Now you're going to LA on a Sunday. Again, this is where the momentum picked up. You won 3 straight games. You probably had a decent game in Philadelphia and Washington, just lost the close games. You got momentum. You're beating Matthew Stafford in LA this time.
I do not think we're going to beat that. I think Stafford is finally going to have his victory over us.
He did the first year.
And so we will be 10-4. Well, we beat him.
I gotta say, nine.
We've lost. We beaten him twice in the playoffs. The first year don't count. We were a horrible team. That don't.
But
I'm saying since we've become good and we're on a level with them, I think he's going to. I think LA's going to beat us. I think that'll make us 10-4.
I'm at 9-5. You're at 10-4. I'm at 9-5 at this point. Now you're going to come home versus Pittsburgh. I think you're going to beat Pittsburgh. They have a questionable QB situation at the moment. But I think you can handle Pittsburgh. I think you'll beat Pittsburgh at this point in the year. Again, another 425 game. You got a lot of 425 games to end the year. But I think you're going to handle Pittsburgh and be at this point 10 and 10-5.
I'm going to say so too. I'll say they're going to do it, so I'm at 11-4. I think that's going to be a tough game, though.
It will be a tough game, but I think you'll be able to do it at home. Your next game, we are playing 2 holiday games this year. We are playing on Christmas Day this year at Minnesota. This is the next 2 games that are your questionable games. Can you finish out strong? Can you win in Minnesota this late in the year? How important is this game going to be at this point in the year?
I don't think it's going to be important. I don't think Minnesota's going to be it.
But for us, is it going to be close? Like, is this a division clinching game on Christmas? Is this a we got to wait till next week kind of game? Or did we already get our playoff spot? This is where all those questions come in. I think we're going to be able to handle Minnesota on Christmas. It's going to be a short week. Lions players are typically used to playing on short weeks compared to other teams. I think we can handle a short week and we can win on Christmas. Have our first Christmas win. And right now we are sitting at 11 and what I said, 11-5.
You are? You're
I'm
at 11-5.
I'm at 11-5 right now.
I'm also going to say that they're going to beat Pittsburgh. They're going to beat Pittsburgh.
Well, no, we're on Minnesota at Minnesota.
At Minnesota. Oh, we're right. We both said Pittsburgh. So I'm also going to say they ain't losing in Minnesota this year. They're not going to lose it. That'll be their 12th win for me, 12-4.
And then you're going to end the year at Chicago.
I'm going to say they're going to lose this game.
I think it's going to be it's probably going to be a very snowy, cold, nasty game.
Right.
You're playing in late.
But I think we have already won the division by the time we played.
At this point, you're playing in that first week of January in the cold in Chicago. It's not going to be a great game. You might even take your foot off the gas a little bit here because we have been doing that lately, late in the season, in the playoffs. So I think you'll end up losing. I have you sitting at an 11-6 record end the year.
And it looks like I have us sitting at 12-5. So we're probably pretty close. That's what I thought. 11, 12 wins. I thought that last year. And
one of these games I ended up changing my heart on. I forget which one's probably the Cincinnati game because originally I thought we'd go 10-7, but I think I changed my mind on the Cincinnati game going back through here. But I think 10 wins is probably around 10, 11 wins is around where you're going to sit. You could lose even more. You could be a 9-8 team.
Well, if you're a 9-8 team, you ain't making the playoffs.
But
you don't think this is a playoff team?
Not that I don't think this is a playoff team. I just think you play too many good teams.
We played tons of good teams last year. We had a really tough schedule.
I think there's too many games that could go either way. That
was last year when we were 15-2. We didn't have a defense.
Now, on the other hand, I think your ceiling is like 14 wins.
I don't think there's an offense in the league that can compare to ours. I think we have the best offense in the league. And I think there isn't a defense really out there. You know, we're going to have bad days. We're going to have days where Goff gets the ball over. We're going to have those things. But even when we have bad days on offense, we were putting up close to 30 points.
Well, like I said, last year I said our ceiling was 15-2, and you thought I was crazy.
I did.
And we got 15-2.
Well, that's just a lot to predict somebody to win.
Now, I know last year I predicted 13 wins, and then we ended up getting 15.
What is the over-under?
10.5.
See, even then, they know that because you're trying to bet. It's hard to sit there and say a team's going to win 15 games. That means you are not going to have hardly any injuries. I mean, what they did last year, even though, I know everyone's disappointed in the playoffs, they had a hell of a year. Probably the greatest year in the history of Detroit. They did have the greatest year in the history of our football.
So when you look at it,
Um,
there's a lot of games that can go either way. I think Kansas City could go either way. I think Baltimore, depending on how you show up, could go either way. Washington, Philly could go either way. It's a lot of those road matchups of how are you going to fully play in those environments and get yourself into a favorable situation. Because those Washington Philly games, they could be nasty games.
They could be.
They could be nasty weather. You
Well,
are
I
going to have
think
an easy
they'll lose
time.
both those, so I've already got them down for those logs.
But most of your home games, you should win. You should almost go.
I'm not afraid of
Winless.
anybody in our division a little bit with Chicago because Ben Johnson knows us, and they are much more talented than they were last year.
It's gonna be an interesting year, and I think that's kind of where we gotta settle with it. It's gonna be interesting. How is it gonna go?
The Lions' big question mark is going to be with their coordinators and how well they adjust. We've had continuity on this team for pretty much the whole Brad Holmes, Dan Campbell era. We've had the same coordinators for the most part, and it's been a real advantage.
Yeah.
And now we got but I don't know. I don't sense that they're worried about this because this has to happen. When you're a great team, they go after your coordinators.
You're also
just what's going to happen.
another thing a lot of people have to realize: you're not going to win the division every year. You again look
There's
at the
no one in this division that's better than us. Nobody.
nobody is, but I'm just saying. Look at the NFC East. They have not had a repeat champion in over 20 years. You are not going to win a division every year. Yes, I would like to keep on winning. Obviously, I'm saying I want us to win, but I don't think people need to think that that is what is going to happen every single year. You have to be able to be realistic and realize you're playing a really, really difficult schedule. Anything can happen. Do I think you're good enough to win a majority of your games still? Yes. Are you going to struggle here and there, though? 100%. It's not going to be easy. Again, you got lucky last year that you were able to play so well with all your injuries.
What if they go 17-0 with you?
If they go 17-0, that's fantastic, but they'll probably lose in the playoffs like they have the past 2 years.
Yeah, probably.
Again, we might be on an era of just playoff disappointment, more of regular season disappointment. And
Well, I hope not. We don't have much of a window. I mean, last year, I keep repeating, we were the better team. We would have beaten Washington had we not turned the ball over, but
would have beat Washington if you would just run the ball more.
maybe.
Also,
But
you
you
probably
know-
could have beat Philly in that situation at home, and then you would have been in the Super Bowl, but that didn't happen.
It's unfair, but the quarterback position is unfair, and you get most of the glory when we win, and you're going to get most of the blame when we lose. And I'm sorry, that playoff loss was 90% on Jared Goff.
I mean, he was concussed half the game, but you know.
Stop crying, man. Yeah,
But we'll see if the Jared Goff chants are still going. I know after that playoff loss,
Jared sucks.
I know after the playoff loss, I never heard it again at a Rebel game.
Yeah.
Which I was
is good. I think he was getting sick of it too.
After that play, only never heard it again at a Rebel game, which I was fine with. But you know.
Right. I mean, it gets kind of old kind of quick. When you don't, like I said, for it to continue, you had to win a Super Bowl. If he had won a Super Bowl,
Yeah,
they'd
we kept on
still be
going.
champions.
But we'll end it here. If you like what you see, like, comment, subscribe. Let us know what you think about the Lions schedule. Let me know what you think their record's going to be. It's going to be an interesting year. Remember to like, comment, subscribe. And until next time, hope to see everybody soon.